Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. Some housekeeping. I put up some new stickers on my Etsy store, so if you want to go check those out, link will be down below as per usual. I think that was the only housekeeping I actually had. So let's just get into what we're doing today. Today, we're going to be doing another reaction video to a fat acceptance TikTok compilation that I made myself, and honestly, I can't remember everything I put into it. I am kind of wanting to not just talk about fat people, because that seems unfair. Like, yeah, I don't like fat acceptance as a whole. I think it needs to be called out for what it is. But I will say that I think only focusing on that side of social media just feels a little unfair to me. So I am thinking about doing reactions potentially to like some crazy like fitness TikToks or something. Those I will definitely need to dig into more to try and find. But I think that could be fun too. just to keep it equal, you know, because that's what I want to do, is just keep it equal. So, but today we are going to be reacting to a fat acceptance compilation that I made myself. Like I said, I don't really remember everything I put into it, so we'll see it together. Let's just get into it. That's all I really have to say.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk,
Okay, so this one is from the creator Fat Sapphic Bro. And I'm actually thinking about making a whole video on this person, much like I did Marissa Matthews, because they particularly spread a lot of misinformation about weight loss surgery, which if you're new here, I had weight loss surgery back in 2018. And so I've experienced that myself. And yeah, I just feel like, I think I've just seen him spread a lot of misinformation about weight loss surgery. So yeah, let me know if you want that video. But this TikTok says, videos from anti-weight loss fat people only piss you off because you're miserable in your smaller body and think we fat people should be as miserable as you are. You can't fathom being happy in a body our size, but that's a you problem. Get therapy and leave fat people alone. Well, one, I am in therapy. Two, I should make it abundantly clear that I am still not thin. I'm still obese. I'm just not as obese as I used to be. That's what I tell people all the time. I think videos from anti-weight loss fat people bother me more because they spread misinformation when it comes to weight loss. And I just think of like when I was still super young and impressionable and like seeing this kind of content, how it kind of made me adverse towards weight loss for a really long time, to the point where my weight where my health started deteriorating a lot. Now that I'm kind of on the other side of that, videos from anti-weight loss people, not even just fat people, because there's plenty of anti-weight loss just like people on TikTok specifically, they piss me off because they demonize weight loss. And like, what if somebody actually wants to lose weight, but one of their favorite creators is like, no, that's bad, it makes you fat phobic, you know? So that's why I hate it. I really don't want anybody to be miserable in their body. I don't think anybody should want anybody to be miserable in their bodies. I don't look at fat people, like I said, because I'm still not thin, but I've never, when I was smaller or whatever, I've never looked at a fat person and was like, they should be miserable. And I don't think anybody does. That's not why those bother me. Okay, that was just a dumb one that I was like, what is this? But yeah, okay, let's move on. Okay, so here we have our old friend Marissa. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a whole video kind of reacting to her TikToks and talking about her as a human. But there's a song playing in the background of this that I'm gonna mute because I don't know if it's copyrighted and I don't want to get copyright struck. But the lyrics say, they say I'm trouble, they say I'm bad, they say I'm evil, that makes me glad. Dirty no good, down to the bone, your worst nightmare, can't take me home. And the TikTok says, when a fat person doesn't hate themselves because of their body. So to me, this is insinuating that people think that fat people who don't hate their body say that that fat person is trouble, bad, evil, and that it makes the fat person really happy that people think that about them, and that the fat person is dirty, no good, down to the bone, and your worst nightmare, and not somebody to be taken home. In Marissa's case particularly, I don't think it's because she's fat. I think it's just because of her personality that people might think that about her. Sorry, that was mean. Again, this goes to the psychological effects of being in the fat acceptance movement that I talked about, with thinking that, like, society just hates you because you're a fat person. Like, this is saying that if you don't hate yourself because of your body as a fat person, people are thinking that you are trouble, bad, evil, somebody that makes happy that people don't like you, that you're dirty, no good, down to the bone, and you're a nightmare and can't be taken home. Like, I get that this is supposed to be, like, an empowering song, I think, but, like, I feel like the messaging is getting mixed here. Also, her belly just hanging out like this, like, I have a belly. I always will have a belly unless I choose to get it cut off, which I would love to, but it's so expensive. And I would think this of anybody who is doing this, of any size, but that's weird. Like, I don't know, that's just weird to me, personally. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Anyway. Okay, first I'm just gonna read what this says, what the comment says, because this is somebody replying to a comment. It says, I've literally seen people say it's fat phobic to work out because not wanting to be fat is fat phobic.
I hate to tell you this, but actively not wanting to be fat is indeed fat phobic. Also, your statement just indicated that people who work out are also people who do not want to be fat. Did you know that fat people work out without wanting to become thin? Did you know that you can work out for reasons other than wanting to change your physical appearance? The fitness and diet industry has absolutely perverted what exercise is and what it is good for, like mental health and cardiovascular health. The industry has brainwashed us into thinking that we can micromanage and control our bodies and exactly what every part of our bodies look like. Sure, you can control your body to some extent, but not through healthy means.
So, I would say I agree and I disagree with about 50% of what this 50-50 of what this person is saying. The part that I do agree with is the part that I do think social media, fitness content and health content, more often than not, has kind of perverted what, like, we think fitness should be, or what we think is a successful fitness journey, or that going to the gym and working out is only for one thing. I do agree with that. I really do. Because I do know, and I know plenty of people, including myself now, really, that go to the gym not to lose weight or become smaller, but I'm personally lifting and I like seeing the muscle development on me, but also, more importantly, for my mental health. That's why I go to the gym now, is specifically for my mental health. And I think it's really important to highlight that more, instead of like go to the gym to lose weight, target your problem areas, blah, blah, blah. I do think they make a good point of that the fitness industry has kind of made it a thing where people think that you can like target specific areas of your body when it comes to weight loss, which just is not true. And she talked about that, and I really appreciate them bringing that up, because it's something that should be talked about, which again is why I'm wanting to kind of make equal reactions when I do make reactions to fat acceptance and to fitness social media, because I think that's really important. Where I don't agree is that not wanting to be fat is fat phobic. Yes, in a literal sense, yes, not wanting to be fat again, or not wanting to be fat, is fat phobic. Like, I say I'm fat phobic because I don't want to ever be 315 pounds again, because I was so miserable at that size, both mentally and physically. And I never want to experience that again, because it just was not fun and it was painful. When they talk about fat phobia, it's more like unequal treatment towards fat people. And I don't want to do that. That's not fatphobic, or that's not my brand of fat phobia, you know? And I don't think it should be anybody's brand of fat phobia. And I think it's rhetoric like this that I talk about time and time again, where they are saying that weight loss is fat phobic, that could potentially stop someone who watches these people who needs to lose weight and who wants to lose weight from losing weight, because their whole thing is they don't want to be fat phobic. And so, and their favorite creators are telling them that it would be fat phobic if they did lose the weight that they wanted to / needed to. And I think that is so dangerous, especially on an app like TikTok, where so many of the viewers are young. Like, I think spreading that rhetoric is just really, really messed up for many reasons. Okay, so this is another reply to a comment, so I'm going to read the comment. It says, as someone who used to be fat, yes, one of my biggest fears is being fat again. Same. I like being able to do everything 10 times easier. Valid point. Also my reasoning for not wanting to get to where I was again.
I'm sorry, but ex-fat people are kind of the worst. Like, great for you. You lost weight. You did what you wanted to do for yourself, hopefully. Why do you have to bring other people down, though? I'm telling you right now, unlearning fat phobia will help you. We are all fat phobic to some degree, including myself. I find myself thinking things that I should not be thinking because society ingrained fat phobia so deeply that it's just normal and we don't blink an eye.
I do agree that we have been taught certain prejudices against fat people growing up, especially like our generation with like the media that has been presented to us and like tabloids and shit like that. Just the early 2000s as a whole, I think really taught us that. And I don't disagree with her on that point. I mean, I'm sorry as an ex-fat person being the worst. Never my intention. Sorry you feel that way. I think her saying that that someone saying I don't want to be fat again is them bringing people down by saying that. Like, I don't really think that's bringing people down. I guess I can see why some people would be offended by it, but I do think that when people say this, and this is just my opinion as someone who has been there, as someone who has thought similar things to what this person just said, I think a lot of that opinion of like ex-fat people are the worst, they're bringing people down by talking about how they disliked being fat and how they don't want to be fat again. I think I used to think this, so that's why I'm drawing this conclusion, but I think being bitter towards those people has a lot to do with personal insecurities and personal jealousy. Because I used to be very jealous of people who successfully lost weight, because that was like the one thing that I wanted to do for so long, and it was made to seem so unattainable by, dare I say, diet culture and like fad diets and stuff like that. In my opinion, that's what I think. I always thought that weight loss was like this big unattainable thing, and so I was really jealous of people who did it. And so when I hear this person's bitterness towards this comment, I personally think it has a lot to do with personal insecurities. That's my opinion, because I was once there too, and it could be me projecting it onto this person, but I see it a lot. I see it a lot in fat acceptance and creators in the fat acceptance movement on TikTok and wherever, and I've always just been of the opinion that thinking that about former fat people or people who have lost weight is rooted in more personal insecurities and jealousy. Moving around in the world, however you take that, is so much easier when you're not super morbidly obese. Like, it's so much easier. And I saw that, like, from the outside looking in, or from like being over 300 pounds, I saw how much easier just life in general was for people in my life who were not the same size as me and were smaller. And I was jealous of that. So yeah, that's why I believe that about this. Again, it is just my opinion. It could just be me projecting, but that's what I think.
I would like to talk very quick about something that annoys me, and I'm going to call it thin-splaining. It's the idea that fat people, like, have no idea how to be thin, and that's why we're fat. So people, or like, that we just don't understand health, and that's why we are the way that we are. So they want to add their tips, saying that it's not appropriate to talk to your loved ones about their body or their weight gain or loss. And some people are like, what if I want to talk to my partner about it because health risks run in their family? It's their family. Who told you about the health risks? Do you think they don't know? Why do you need to talk to them about it? I made a video where I said you can decline getting your weight taken at the doctor's office, and so many people jumped in to say, unless you have anesthesia, unless you're getting a prescription for medication, unless it's this, unless it's that. And I'm like, fat people know when it's medically necessary. Stop. I made a video saying that there are no diseases exclusive to fat people, which there are absolutely not. And people want to say, it can actually be a risk factor for other diseases. Like we don't already know. People have literally been saying this shit to me since I was 7 years old. I know. I don't need your helpful input.
So, okay, there's a lot to unpack with this. So first off, the idea of calling anything thin-splaining, I think is rude. I think this is like, and now that I saw what's coming up next, I'm gonna bring this up again. But I've seen a lot of people commenting on my videos about how a lot of these fat activists, like, refer to, like, people as, like, marginalized bodies or whatever, and how dehumanizing that is, and I 100% agree. Fat people calling thinner people thin, like referring to a person as a thin, because I've seen that a lot, or like this, thin-splaining, is extremely dehumanizing and is extremely hypocritical of these people, because these people are wanting, but it's also because with fat acceptance it's very confusing, because it's like, do you want to be seen as your body size or not? They are all about being more than just a fat person and more than just their bodies, but their entire content library is about their bodies and about their experience in their bodies. So for me, it's like, do you want to be seen for more than just your body or not? Like, that's something I've never understood. But I think a lot of times they're talking about wanting to be seen as more than their bodies. And so I think them turning around and referring to fat people or thin people as thins or thin-splaining is going against what they want. So, like, why should society give them something different? There's that. But also, I think, again, this is just, like, in my opinion, because I used to think like this too, like this used to bother me too, and to some extent I agree. Like when I made my video way back when about the toxic side of like fitness social media, I talked about this, about how some creators in the fitness realm are way too aggressive when it comes to talking about how being fat is unhealthy, because chances are the fat person, me, already knows that. Like, we've been told that time and time and time again. And, like, we already know that. We don't need more people telling us that. And that I do kind of understand and empathize with, because I used to think the same thing. Like, I hated when my doctor would just constantly harp about how unhealthy I was because of my weight, because I was told that since I remember, like, going to the doctor and that being a topic of discussion. So I get the frustration with always talking about that and whatever. But the reality is that being super morbidly obese is a problem. It is a medical issue, and I have experienced that because before I lost weight, I was having so many medical problems, like internally, that could only be solved by weight loss, and they were. My entire metabolic panel flipped back to being in the normal range for somebody my age, which was huge for me. And so the fact of the matter is that being super morbidly obese is unhealthy. It is. Being sedentary, eating a poor diet is unhealthy. And it's going to add up over time. And I think it's extremely harmful for someone specifically on TikTok to be telling people that you can be asked not to be weighed at a doctor's appointment. Is it fun? No. Do I enjoy it still? No. Did I enjoy it when I was over 300 pounds? No. But did I recognize that it was something that needed to be done? Yes, because it's a vital measurement. They need it for so many things. And yes, she has the wherewithal to be like, yes, I understand that it's necessary in some instances, but her young audience, probably most people on TikTok are very young, her young audience won't have that wherewithal. And hopefully if they're minors, their parents will be like, nah, weigh this kid, please. But who knows? I think telling people that you can ask not to be weighed at a doctor's appointment is so harmful. And could cause so many problems down the road. And when it comes to not wanting to talk to a loved one about their weight gain or whatever, I think that is a touchy subject. I do agree with that. That is a very touchy subject. But I think if you approach it from the standpoint of, I just want you to be healthy and I want you in my life for as long as possible, I think that is valid. And is it a hard conversation to have? Yeah, but especially if weight-related health problems run in their family, I think that's a valid conversation to have. And I think there's ways that you can approach it for sure. Like if I ever started gaining a ton of weight rapidly or whatever, I would expect my partner to talk to me about it. I would want my partner to talk to me about it. Would I be kind of taken aback by it? Yes. But I think in the long run, I would really appreciate them doing that. I think that's a touchy subject. I think the reasoning behind bringing that up to a partner is really important. Are you wanting them to lose the weight again, for personal reasons because you're embarrassed to be seen with them? That seems like a personal problem that you should probably work through. But are you wanting to bring it up because you're worried about their health and their life expectancy and their quality of life? I think that's valid. Personally, I think that's valid. I think I covered everything on this one. Yeah. So let's just move on.
Hello there, everybody. This is just a friendly reminder again, because some people are so fucking incompetent that they will not listen to marginalized bodies, but then we'll just talk over them. So let me just reiterate this. The body positive movement is not about your fucking insecurities that are rooted in fat phobia. The movement is about fighting systemic oppression and systemic fat phobia and systemic ableism. It's not about your fucking bloated stomach. It's not about your fucking stretch marks. It's not about your fucking insecurities that are rooted in fat phobia. So get off your fucking high horse and listen to marginalized bodies when we tell you that you've co-opted the movement that was never meant for you. So if you're not on my page to listen and learn, then get the fuck out of here, because I don't want to hear about your thin fucking tears. If you want a movement to help you with your insecurities, then go find 10 of the other movements that exist for it. Stop co-opting one for marginalized bodies. Thank you. Oh.
Okay. So, I always laugh whenever I see a fat activist, fat acceptance person yelling at thin people or just non-fat people for co-opting a movement when they're talking about body positivity, when they yell at people who aren't fat for co-opting a movement that was never meant for them, because in reality that's what the fat acceptance people did to the body positivity movement. See my whole last video about how fat acceptance ruined the body positivity movement, because it fucking did. Let me look up this definition really quickly. So, according to the Wikipedia article on body positivity, it says body positivity is a social movement focused on the acceptance of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, and physical abilities, while challenging present-day beauty standards as an undesirable social construct. So, let me reiterate. Acceptance of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, and physical abilities. All sizes. All the fat activists, Marissa is a common perpetrator in this, all the fat activists are inherently just not advocating for body positivity correctly. and as I said before, the constant referring to people as bodies, like marginalized bodies, just seems even more dehumanizing to me. Like, they're already like trying to push a movement that like helps people see marginalized bodies as people, and I think continuing to refer to them as bodies kind of contradicts that point, because I think referring to people as bodies is insanely dehumanizing, personally. And I've seen other people comment that on my videos, and I think it's a great point. And also, I've also seen some people, because I've reacted to videos before where the term thin tiers is used, and I've had people comment on those videos saying not only is that insanely insulting and dehumanizing, but also it's like taking it from the term white tiers, which is used to fight like racism, and so it's kind of cheapening that aspect of that phrase as well, which I think the fat acceptance movements bring race into it a lot more than seems necessary to me, and it also creates some like false equivalencies with like the fat acceptance movement and, let's say, the civil rights movement. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know if I made that point correctly or articulately, but yeah, but hopefully you can kind of understand what I'm saying. But again, I just don't think Marissa is doing what she thinks she's doing, because she's just such an off-putting person. I get that her shtick is like, take me or leave me, like, I'm rude, I'm not nice, whatever. But like, calling people incompetent because they're not getting your message or what you're trying to say is just gonna push those people away. So like, what's the point of insulting them if you're trying to get your point across? I talked about this all the time, like a lot in my Marissa Matthews video, so just go watch that. But like, I've never understood her like condescending, insulting remarks towards people that she doesn't agree with, because if she's trying to like flip their mindset, which I don't think she will, it's just not gonna work. Like, I don't think she'll do it regardless, but like, doing it with that kind of condescending tone is just not gonna work. And I've never understood that. Anyways, I just wanted to end with this Marissa one because she drives me nuts. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you today. I'm gonna quit my rambling here. I just thought this was like a fun little like video, because I like listening to reactions when I'm like cleaning or whatever, and so I figured I'd just include some more just as some fun little lighthearted content that I don't have to sit down for like hours and write a script for, because I do want to post more, and you guys seem to love my reactions based on my analytics, so I just thought I would keep them going. Let me know your thoughts about all these things down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, drink your water, take your meds, and I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.